So I thought I would just chat with you today, maybe do like a little life update and then talk about some kind of random things. So I'll start here. Yesterday I had a really good day. I kind of took off for the most part, so I didn't work. I mean, I answered some messages and took care of a couple of things, but for the most part, I took the day off, which is really pretty uncommon for me. And I don't know about you, but I really enjoy what I do now, working with our clients, working with my team to help women. And so I don't have that dread about work that I used to have when I was still, in colleges. And that just makes work life very different now. I think it's really different. I won't go too much into the whole business thing, but I think it's really different when you're an entrepreneur versus working for someone else. For my entire life, up until the last 4 years, my full time job was working for someone else, for an organization in education. And so while you take a lot of satisfaction, I think, in your job in a lot of ways when you work for someone else, it's just not the same as when I hope that music is not too loud. I guess I won't know until I listen to this episode or you guys tell me. But excuse me. What I was saying was there's just a different level of commitment and purpose and satisfaction and drive that I find that I have for what I do now, working for myself and helping other women. I think part of it too is not just that it's the difference between working for someone versus like being an entrepreneur, but I think how I feel about the impact that I'm able to make on people's lives. I think that's probably more what it is. So, yeah, well, thank you for listening as I had that little personal therapy session. Anyway, what I was saying is I took the day off for the most part yesterday, and I do enjoy having that freedom, but I did something that I don't do enough of. And I guess that's why I want to share with you today, because I think we all should pay more attention to this. So I took the day, I drove to Waco, Texas, city that I have been through many, many times, but I don't typically stop there a lot and just like shop and sightsee and that kind of thing. But I drove to Waco and I met our daughter, Emily. Some of you probably know her personally, even, but many of you may not. She's grown. All of our kids are grown and gone out of the house. And so you don't see them on my social media platforms and such as much as, when they were still at home. But she is 28. She's going to be 29 this year. She has her own life, right? She works as a professional chef at in Austin, in a restaurant in Austin, and that's where she and her partner live. They live with their two dogs, and the two of them are really happy having their own life. And he's a great guy. We like him too. They're not married. Just kind of catch you up. They are more of that modern couple. They've been together for years, lived together. They've chosen not to have children, don't want any children, and they're choosing not to get married. Now, that may change. I don't think the whole kid thing will change, but anyway, I don't see her near enough. I don't see her near as much as we used to. And I mean, that's normal, right? Like our kids grow up and they have their own lives and we expect that. But she and I were really close when she was growing up. I mean, she was my buddy. Like we did a lot together. And she played ball and had her, in high school and had her own thing going on then too. But she wasn't the kid who went out and partied a lot. She wasn't the kid that was like, off with her friends every single weekend. She really spent a lot of time with me and I enjoyed it. I really loved our relationship. And when she first went off to college, she initially went to college out of state, And you may have heard me talk about this in terms of like the empty nester kind of transition. It hit me a lot harder than I ever expected it to when she left college. And that was a time when her leaving for college kind of coincided with my menopausal transition, and I didn't know it at the time. And so there were a lot of emotions about, our last kiddo leaving the nest and my buddy leaving the nest. And I was lonely in a lot of ways because we did spend so much time together and have such a close relationship. And then on top of it, looking back now, I realize, that was the year I had gained weight, we had moved, she was going off to school, and in hindsight I know that my hormones were changing drastically and I was really transitioning into that perimenopause and menopausal period of life. And so it was rough. It was rough for me. In the years since, she's gone to college, she's gone to culinary school, she has, her own life. They've settled in Austin. She works there. And we don't see each other, even though she's only about 4.5 hours away from me. We don't see each other as much as we used to or as I would like to. And we're both busy. It's one of those things. But I think here's the thing. So I don't know, maybe a month or so ago, she messaged and said, "Hey, let's meet halfway some way sometime and have lunch." And we really hadn't done that. For the most part, they either come up here and stay some time with us because it's not a day trip, to visit each other, or we've gone there and stayed the weekend or what have you. But that's hard when you're busy, right? And so I don't know why it never occurred to us to meet halfway and just like have lunch and spend an afternoon together. But she had that great idea. It meant a lot to me that she initiated that and wanted to do it. And so we decided to go to Magnolia Market. If those of you, listening, maybe watch HGTV, Chip and Joanna Gaines, and you know that their Magnolia Market and store and all, and their HGTV show I don't know if is it still taped there, but it used to be. Anyway, they have a really popular place there with all of their like the home store, and they've created, it's called the Magnolia Silos in downtown Waco, and they've created like this little I don't know what you would call it. It's like a whole little area in downtown. Really cool. Well, I've been through there. I knew it was there. I've wanted to go, and we just never have. Waco is one of those places I don't know that you planned a vacation there. You drive through on the way to a lot of other things if you live in Texas anyway. And so we decided to do that. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed seeing. If those of you who are Chip and Joanne Gaines fans plan to go, let me kind of side note here. I'm glad I didn't travel from out of state to go there. It's not quite what you see on TV or social media, but it's totally fun. If it's on your agenda to come to Texas and you can work it in, it's completely worth the stop. But I think I would be disappointed if that was the destination and I expected more. But anyway, we had a good time. We went out to eat, we shopped, we walked around, and we talked a lot. And my point with this is we hear and I even say, like, make time for the people you love, right? Make time to spend time with those people, talk to those people, tell them that you love them. And I don't think even those of us who know we need to do that, I don't think we do it enough. We really don't. So think of somebody that you've been meaning to reach out to, that you've been meaning to talk to on the phone, that you've been meaning to see, and just make a point of doing it. And if you have kids, adult kids, really make a point to see them more often, talk to them more often, and parents too. Our parents are getting older, and that's a topic for another day I'll go into, but just, yeah, reach out to someone that you care a lot about. So that's what's been going on in the last few days with me. I had a lot of work, to catch up on, and a lot of things to do today. And frankly, I did that. I'm trying to spend more time for me too. So I did that, took care of it, and especially now that the weather's getting warmer, I'm gonna make a point of trying to end my day earlier. Like by 3 o'clock or so, and get outside where I'm sitting right now, listening to music and just chit chatting with you and enjoying some time to myself. And Roger's been working a lot of nights. He's got night projects that are going on because of the nature of the project, and he's in road construction. For those of you who may not know, and overseeing those large projects in Texas, on highways in Texas in particular, they have to do a lot of that work, that maintenance work, that upgrade work, that build work. They have to do it at night, and so he's been working quite a bit at night, and he that doesn't mean he doesn't have to work during the day too. So he's been away a lot, and I guess part of why I bring that up is just life update kind of thing, but also I talk to a lot of you who tell me that your schedules, like with your partners, your spouses, your kids, are all kind of like, they don't run concurrent. They don't run the same. You guys have different schedules with ball season, for example, with your kids and sports, and with your husbands, and maybe the like a lot of the women that I help are in healthcare. They're doctors, emergency room doctors, or nurses, or what have you, and sometimes it's the husbands whose work schedules are kind of off or not days, for example. And you tell me that you struggle with both the difference in the routine from an emotional and psychological perspective because you don't get to spend the time that you would like to spend together, but also on just a practical level, you struggle with eating on routine. And how are you going to manage dinners, or how your nutrition, and you don't want to be cooking separate meals, or because his schedule is different from yours, you don't have a common meal time, and so you find yourself not eating as regularly, and those kinds of things, right? And so I guess I've been reminded of that in this last couple of weeks, because that's so true for us in the last few weeks. And so I guess if a couple of things I would say, just to give you a tip or some help in that way, is that I approach food more as a means to fuel myself than, in these instances, more as a means to fuel myself rather than, something that I do like socially. Roger and I eat socially together too, so there's that component. But when I'm alone, I could very well have a tendency just to like grab something or not to eat at all. I think that's really common among women our age, and it's not really healthy. And if you're trying to build your metabolism and lose weight at this stage in life, and you're trying to do it in a way that is healthy and overcome some of the obstacles that we have in losing this fat weight in your 40s and 50s, you've got to really approach food more from a nutritional perspective and an energy building perspective than you do, just like to eat. It just becomes a much more strategic part of the puzzle, if you will. And so if you're one who tends to snack or skip meals, especially if the family's not home, think about that and really consider it, because when you do that, what is the comment that you're making, or what are you prioritizing instead of your health? Because your comment is, I'll answer that for you. The comment that you're making is that your health is really not the importance, that eating is a function of family rather than it is a function of your health. And so maybe reevaluate that and put some thought into it. And then just really practically, what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I have ingredients on hand that I can throw together super quick, easy, nutritious meals that pack a bang nutritionally, rather than cost me time to put them together. And there's a little bit of freedom in them being gone and me only having to worry about fueling myself in the evenings. For example, Roger doesn't like seafood. He eats some fish, but I love shrimp and salmon and crab and lobster, and he doesn't eat that stuff. And so this is an opportunity for me to enjoy shrimp, for example. And so I will keep, where we live, I can't get fresh, but I will keep frozen, deveined, and peeled shrimp in the freezer, and I can super quickly, I can defrost that and mix up a rice bowl with veggies and some brown rice. And in less than 5 minutes, maximum 10, from freezer to putting everything together, maximum 10 minutes, I can be eating a scrumptious, nutritious dinner. And I have lots of quick, healthy, throw together dinners like that are my go-tos, and I'm happy to share those with you. Send me a message if you want, if that kind of resource would be super helpful for you. Send me a message or comment, um, on this video, and send me a DM. Fastest way is to send me a DM in Instagram, or send me a private message on Facebook and just tell me, like, hey, listen to your podcast, want the fast, quick, healthy meals. I'm happy to send you a lot of those ideas. I give those to our 12-week MRS clients all the time. I am all about quick eating, healthy, quick eating that helps me maintain my weight. I'm all about that all the time. But again, with him working at night, it just makes it really, I'll say it makes, I can really think about the fact that I can use this time to just really focus on my own fuel rather than it being, a detriment or something that I let slip. I can take advantage of the opportunity that I have. So, yeah, that's it. The wind's kicking up out here big time. I am so ready for it to be just like warm, the pouring down rain to stop this. I call it like this schizophrenic spring that we've had. And right now it's like really, really cloudy out here, but I'm going to enjoy it. And yeah, I hope this was helpful to you guys. I'd love for you to message me and just kind of give me a life update. What's going on with you? Let me know once you listen to this episode. I started doing some of these, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. I did one, and I'm doing one now. If you're listening to it when it's published, we are in the last week, actually the last day. I think today is the last day of April 2024, and tomorrow will be the 1st of May. I can't believe how quickly this year is already going. But yeah, so whenever you're listening to this, send me a message. Let me know what's going on in your life. And thanks for, spending the last 18 or so minutes with me and listening to me ramble. I appreciate you spending time with me, and I will meet you right back here next time.